Today, I'm going to continue on the conversation of ego identity and ego death. And I have two separate episodes from previous that I talk about this subject. So this one will be continue episode of those two. And if you haven't watched or listened to any of those two episodes, I'll put the link in the show note and the YouTube description so you guys can check it out after this episode. Okay, so let's get right into it. First of all, I just want to revisit these two subjects. Ego identity is actually the identity that we build through our childhood, our background, our society, how our parents are, how we learn from school, and we unconsciously build on this identity we embody in ourselves. And this identity is very strong unconsciously, and it will protect its existence. Anytime you want to get rid of him or her, it will tell your subconscious mind, this is no good. This is danger. It will generate fear within your mind. And so that's why many people weren't able to get out of this ego identity. And many of us today in our society carry multiple ego identity. We have a way of showing ourselves at work. We have a different way of showing ourselves with our family. And there's another way that when we're by ourselves, we show another way. Right? So ego death is a process when you are start the journey of spiritual awakening. And when you are start awakening, then the ego will have to die, which many people are not able to because of what I explained. The ego identity have a very strong existence that want you to stay and play that character. So I made this mistake myself as well. So once your old ego self identity is dead, and you have to be careful that you don't want to generate or create another one. And that's the story I want to share with you personally. If you follow my channel, you probably hear me mention a couple of times that about 10 years ago, I went through a breakup. And that breakup really dissolved my ego identity at the time, because I was very active in my own community at the time. And then I developed this character, this identity of being the center of the attention, the center of this figure, and do many things, movies, modeling, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So when I experienced that breakup, all those things shatters. And I was devastated. I was so depressed. I was so sad. But I didn't know about anything about spiritual at the time. So I gone through a very dark time, about 2 years. And I didn't really do much as far as public wise. So long story short, I wasn't aware of this ego death at the time. So I started to actually went on a different path and shift myself in a different reality. And at the same time, I shift myself into a different character unconsciously, unknowingly. And I started learning real estate. And because of the breakup experience, I became a realtor. And that's actually another identity that I embody for myself. So long story short, that kind of started about 2018 or so, and all the way up to 2022, 23. Okay, and my mom passed, and I have an awakening moment during COVID, and then 2022 when my mom passed. So now I'm looking back, I'm aware of all these journeys, that these experience that I have from building up this ego identity and went through this ego death, and then create another character, another ego identity for myself that I'm not consciously aware of. And again, same thing. The pattern repeats. See, if you don't let go of your ego, your experience will just stuck in that same loop and it will repeat itself. Whatever you experience, whatever I experienced actually 10 years ago, it repeats again when I build up this realtor, this entrepreneur identity. And the experience actually repeats itself. I started, again, losing friends. This time I didn't have a heartbreak, but it's similar, right? My mom passed. Of course, there's a heartbreak. And I repeat in this loop, and this identity, I just keep creating new one for myself. And of course, this is unconsciously. So this time around, I'm practicing spiritual. So I'm self-aware of this loop, this repeating experience that I projecting for myself. And another story that I can also share is I used to know a friend. He worked in a movie industry. So every time we go somewhere, he will actually just announce himself that, oh, I work with WB studio, blah, 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 blah. And people, I'm not sure if they even care or not, because usually when this type of conversation is when someone asks you, what do you do for a living? But no, he will just tell people, hey, this is what I do. Okay, so that's showing a lot of ego identity. And again, as I mentioned in the previous episode, there's no other people. Every individual people that you experience is a reflection, a mirror of yourself. So this person is reflecting my own consciousness, my own self at the time that I'm not even actually aware of. I'm projecting my own self onto this person and experience it back to myself. So he is showing himself off that, hey, I work for a movie studio, blah, blah, blah. And the reason I experienced that side of him, because that's how I am, actually. And then COVID came along, and actually his work got cut short. So it was also the age that for him to retire. So he just went on to retirement. But nowadays, these days, I can see him that he is trying to generate another identity for himself. And I see that because I experienced that. And if he's watching this episode, I wish I can tell him, please just enjoy your life. You have a family, you have a nice wife, you have 2 kids. Come on now, enjoy your life and no need to be anybody. Because I experienced that, and it's not easy. It's carrying this identity, and when you get to a certain point, you want to maintain that. You want to protect that identity, and it's hard. It become a burden for me at a time, and that's why I'm depressed and I even use substance, blah, blah, blah. But this is another topic I'm willing to share with you all because this is an experience, right? So that's the experience that I have towards this person. And again, it's reflecting my own identity, because everyone who you experience, we call it other people, friends, family, co-worker, it's all a reflection of ourselves. Okay, I put a short guide together. I'll put a link in the show note, and on YouTube description is the first link that you can see. And it's free to download. There's no application. There's nothing. And I'm just kind of sharing my own experience as I always do on this channel. And again, I'm not your teacher. I'm not your guru, because I don't want to entangle into another identity. This guide will help you and guide you to find your own teacher within yourself. And that's the whole purpose that I'm creating these videos and create this guide, go through this guide and practice. And I want to know your experience. I would love for you to share in the comment of any of my episodes or the audio platform under reviews and share your stories. And the last part I want to share is, since we're on this identity topic, I want to just share something very quick before I wrap this out. So 2 years ago, 2023, I experienced a reptilian in a human form, of course. And that reptilian, I'm sure, let me put it this way. I'm sure reptilian beings has good and also the bad ones and good ones, just like human beings, right? Good and bad. It's polarity, right? So this reptilian in a human form that I experienced came to me, and one time he asked me, "Are you popular?" And in normal circumstance, my ego will say yes. And somehow, because I sense the danger, somehow, okay, I say, no, I'm not popular, okay? And now looking back and looking at all the collective news that we have, Epstein's, Diddy's, blackmailing, all those controversy, all those stories that we've been put out on the news every day to bombard us with fears and lower our vibration and frequency. So anyways, this reptilian, I will share more about this individual on other episode with you guys. So that's it. And remember, if you experience any ego death, or if you're in the journey of spiritual awakening for yourself, please share your stories. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Stay safe and peace.